Hello, my name is Asher. I'm going to be reading my narrative on going to Mexico. Mostly every winter we go to Mexico. Last time it was 2019. We had to pack a lot because we were visiting 3 different cities. When we drove to the ferry terminal, we had to wait in the car until it was our turn to drive on. We walked on to the boat and we did some more waiting until we were allowed to go upstairs. When we got upstairs, I went to get food with Haines in the cafeteria. We were really hungry. It opened at 9, so we waited even more. We went with my parents to go get a seat in the lounge. I fell asleep really fast. I hadn't had much sleep the night before. My parents woke me up and said breakfast was open. And we walked to breakfast the night, and there wasn't much to choose from. I got an English muffin and pancakes. I shared pancakes with Hayden. When we were done with breakfast, we went back to the lounge. I fell asleep again, right after playing cards with my mom. When it was time to get off the ferry, we walked to the cafeteria. That's where they let you off. They opened the gate and we all walked off. We walked up the ramp. My dad called a taxi to pick us up. The taxi came. We all got in the car. We all got in. Will you bring us to the Aspen Hotel? My dad asked the taxi driver. Sure, the taxi driver said. The car started to go. When we got to the hotel, it was late. I fell asleep really fast. In the morning, it felt like I got no sleep, even though I got like 6 hours. We drove to the airport. We were going to Seattle next. When we got on the plane, there wasn't much to do. We just sat there. Then an announcement came on the loudspeakers. It said you were allowed to watch a movie on your smart device. There was a screen in front of us. We watch a movie. We didn't have enough time to finish it. We got to Seattle and had to rush to our next flight. We were on the plane. Are we there yet? I asked my mom. No, she said. 30 minutes later, I asked again. Are we there yet? She said no. Are we there yet? No. Hayden looked annoyed, so I stopped asking. Announcements came over the loudspeaker. We have arrived at your destination. When we got off the plane, we met my grandparents at the airport. They had a shiny red car. They drove us to a beach. We played for 3 hours until it was dark. We went to a place right next to the beach with a restaurant. I got rockfish. Hayden got coconut shrimp that we all shared. My parents got a big salad to share. When we were done with dinner, my grandparents drove us to the hotel we were staying in. Hayden and I shared a bed because there was only 2. My parents took the other staying in. Hayden and I shared a bed because there were only 2. My parents took the other one. My grandparents went back to their house. The next day, we went back to the beach my grandparents went back to their house, and we played until about 12. Then we would get on a different plane and go to San Miguel de Allende. We played Then we got on our next flight. It was a short ride, about 45 minutes. After we got to this new town, my grandparents drove us an hour to their house. There were 4 beds, 1 for my grandparents, 1 for my parents, and 1 for each Hayden and I. There was 1 room with a TV and 1 with a balcony. We fought over the one with the TV, but I got it in the end. Every day we went for a walk down the street to a park. Hayden tried to teach me how to shoot a basketball in the hoop, but every day we walked down to a shop that sold the best corn I've ever had. After a bit, we moved on to the next city. We had to drive there because there was no plane. It was really a bumpy road. We stopped at a shop to get food. It took us 6 hours. After we got there, we all walked into a rental house. There were only 2 walls with a post to hold up the roof. There, something's moving, I shrieked. It was a giant lizard on one of the walls. I was car sick from the ride, so I decided to go outside and play. The sand was hot and I couldn't make it from one side of the beach to the other without getting it in the water. A few days later, we took a boat to a different beach. It wasn't very far. When we got there, my dad rented us snorkels. We brought crackers with us. We emptied the crumbs in the water and to attract the fish around us. We saw many boats and colorful fish. When it was time to get out of the water, we went to have lunch at a restaurant close. Hayden and I got a big plate of shrimp to share. My parents got fish. We met someone who had a parrot. It knew words like hello, and he could say his name. We had to leave Mexico to go home. Now it was snowing, and it's been a long winter. I wish I was in Mexico again.